We have Kaden in Washington has a question about, well, kind of about morality, but I think it seems more like fatalism. Well, welcome to the show, Kaden. How can we help?
Yeah, hi. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
And this is, I guess, a question that you're kind of tired of already, but it's sort of a follow-up on a caller named Paul's question from last week.
Yeah.
He was asking about the value of truth if we're mortal.
Yeah.
You part of your answer, you mentioned things being useful even though they're temporal. You mentioned like a sandwich is useful for my nourishment. A vehicle is useful for my transportation. And
Yeah.
if I sound funny, I am a little nervous.
No, but the question here from the call screener that it said you wanted to ask is, what is the value of morality if we're all going to die anyway? Is that kind of what you're getting at?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why should you wipe your ass if it's just going to get dirty the next day? Why should you eat a sandwich if you're just going to have to poop it out? Why should you maintain your vehicle if it's just going to end up in a junkyard someday?
Well, I would say because those things are beneficial to me. But
yes, that's the point. You don't think acting morally is beneficial to you and the people around you?
Not always, no. I would argue that a lot of times. I mean, we talk about morality in terms of well-being, but I guess my question is well-being for whom? Because a lot of times I would say that the moral thing to do is detrimental to myself.
Like what?
If I'm hungry, and I don't have food and I, can't find a job or whatever, it would seem to be beneficial to me to steal, but I would argue that that's immoral.
Well, you're being a little myopic. Of course, it's beneficial to you to steal, provided you don't worry about whether or not you get caught. You think getting caught and punished is to your benefit?
Right. So if I think I'm smart enough, sly enough to get away with it,
are you?
Why
are you
not do that?
And does that make it moral just because you can get away with it? Because what you've done is if you've stolen something, you've increased the price of that for everybody else, whether you get caught or not.
Right. But I guess my whole question is if everything is somewhere on this spectrum of, ham sandwich, automobile, animals, people, etc. Like, why do I need to value people in a different way than I value a ham sandwich or an automobile? Why?
Because people are going to take actions that impact your life, whereas a ham sandwich isn't. Is this really that difficult? I don't mean to be a dick, but I have difficulty believing this is a serious question, in the same way that I don't understand people who don't see the value of truth. I don't understand people who don't see the value of morality. And when your question is, what is the value of morality if we're all going to die anyway? It's because morality impacts our life right now, and our life right now matters even if we're going to die someday.
Yeah, and you recognize, Kaden, that you live in a world filled with people, and you know that certain actions that you take are going to be that other individuals are going to respond to you. Like if you start swinging your fist around, someone's going to either back away everyone's going to back away until someone tackles you, calls the cops, and locks you up. So there are direct consequences for those actions. And I think we're not perfect at discerning what is the action to take in any given moment. I think we all kind of know what we should do, but let's say you're starving hungry and you think you can get away with it and you're going to die. You're going to choose the immediate good of eating a loaf of bread, Jean Valjean, over just dying in the street, but that you also don't want to have a world where people have to steal to survive. I really don't understand the problem because it's just useful. We all kind of recognize that truth and morality is useful more than it's some objective thing to be attained.
I want to just one side thing real quick, Kaden, because the question you asked is, what's the moral value if we're all going to die anyway? So let's assume for a second that nobody's going to die. Does morality somehow become more relevant? What if everybody lives for 1 billion years or 1 million years or 1,000 years? At what point, what length of lifespan is relevant to your question, such that this length of lifespan makes morality valuable to you, whereas you don't think that that's true under a normal human lifespan?
I wouldn't say it just has to do with longevity.
Then you asked a poorly worded question, because your question is, what is the value of morality if we're all going to die? Would you agree that whether or not we're going to die is irrelevant to whether or not morality has value?
No, I mean it's part of it, because for me it's,
Well,
as a Christian.
then I'm going to move on to other callers, because I don't feel like continuing a conversation with someone who's trying to defend contradictory positions. So thanks for the time.
I mean,
You can't simultaneously defend that it's about, whether or not we're going to die, and then suggest that it's not. Come up with a better phrasing of the question, and Johnny and I'd be happy to address it.
Yeah. Who else we have?
Well, we've got a number of callers. It's frustrating though, because this whole thing about what's the value of truth keeps coming up over and over again, and it's incredibly frustrating to me because of the world that we live in, where there are people who seem to live in a different reality. They don't share truth, and I'm wondering if the people calling, we talk about what the process is. You and I have talked privately. We didn't talk about it on the show. What the process is of people becoming radicalized, not just buying into conspiracy theories or false beliefs, but doing it to the point where you could be, actuated as an arm of some sort of ideology. And I wonder if the questions about the value of truth and morality, like this is the first time anybody said, what good is morality if we're going to die? To me, that question is like literally one of the most ridiculous, nonsensical questions I've been asked, because morality is about our life. The fact that our life ends doesn't change what's moral.
There's a remember when I was younger and I was struggling with death, my little soapbox. And I was like, okay, I could be the world's greatest villain, or I could be the world's greatest hero. And then the sun's going to expand and burn up the earth, and there will be no evidence whatsoever that I healed the sick and donated to charity, or that I killed everybody in Australia single-handedly. Good luck with that. So there's no meaning to my actions in some eternal sense. And maybe there is no meaning to my actions in some eternal sense, but there sure is for me now. If I want to be running from the law, if I want to look into the faces of those Australians that I'm strangling to death, if I want to
wait, Johnny.
Yeah.
Why are you strangling Australians? I thought we were supposed to try to be calm today, and
Oh,
you're immediately
sorry.
talking about killing people on an entire continent. I mean,
hypothetical.
And by the way, I'd like to point out that the judge is Australian.
I'm buttering her up right now. Okay. Cause I'm not that person that would try to hand murder a bunch of Aussies. Okay.
You'd just be the person who would sanction it and let somebody else do the work. Is that?
No, I just sit back and watch, and then wait to divinely intervene after it was done.
It's
the
too
end
much
of time. Yeah.
Let's dig into some more calls.